What is one mistake that people can avoid in the pizza business?
This was very central to me creating my business. It was very important that, for me at least, that I could do something that was very personal, but also had to be business. I had to be sound from a business standpoint. And I think one of the pitfalls in pizza is that as a broad category, it's a commodity space. It just is. Whether it's the big chains, whether it's Applebee's probably has something they call pizza or flatbread on their menu. Every gas station, convenience store, concession stand. Like, the thing that I was always fearful of was that it just so happens that the way I frame my business and my belief in using the best things I can get a hold of, that just sort of jives with me personally, and people can see things however they want to see them. From an independent operator's standpoint, I think if you're going to go compete in a commodity world and sell commodity products, you're fucked. You have no chance, because you're competing against monsters, like monster organizations. So the people that I know, that I see, that I interact with, that are really smoking it in the pizza space, are doing it their way. They're doing it with distinction, whether it's their point of view, whether there's their expression on the plate, whether it's the quality and the variety and the novelty of ingredients they use. I just got a Google review, a 1-star Google review, literally 2 days ago. And the review says, everything on the menu's in Italian. How about some English? Well, let's not even talk about how, if he said that about a Chinese or a Mexican or an African restaurant, how incredibly fucking racist that is. Let's forget about that. But let's just consider, if I want to compete, right? If I want to meet this guy on his playing field, I'm fucked. And when you invest your time and your energy and your money and you feel like your entire life is at risk if you fuck it up, emotionally, right? Again, in my scarcity brain, I get it. I get why you would want to buy the cheapest thing you could buy and compete on price, but you're fucked. You're fucked. Panera will smoke you. Domino's will smoke you. Applebee's will smoke you. You're going to lose at every time. So we have to be distinct. You have to offer something unique. You have to offer a perspective of real integrity and value, because if it's just convenience, right, and price, you're always going to lose until your name is Bezos. And that's not going to fucking happen. I had a woman, my first year I was open, I had a woman, and she was really sweet. And I really appreciated where she was coming from. She was sort of like, she had some feedback for me, and she was getting like in the like sort of mom zone, right? And to give you some context, like, she and her husband, I learned, had some sort of a franchise business that failed, right? And just recently, and she came into my pizzeria, and she was trying to offer her feedback. I said, well, just come meet me. I'd love to talk to you about it, right? I've been open for 6 months. I'd love to talk to you about it. And look, my pizza is so much better than it was in our first 6 months. Also, in our first 6 months, I was really proud of what we were doing, right? And this woman basically said, after all was said and done, she kept commenting on the price. And so I said to her, well, it sounds like you just don't value what was on the plate, because price means many things to many people, right? But what we're talking about is value. She kept talking about price. And I said, how little would I have to charge you for you to think it tastes good? If I charge you $5, would you think it tastes good? Would you think it wasn't burnt? Would you not freak out about the crust? Well, she doesn't have an answer for that. No one has an answer for that, right? And so I don't know where that came from in the moment, but ultimately it just comes from this idea of like, yeah, man, price is not irrelevant, but also if you, as a pizza operator in the world, as much as we're very much into this artisanal people, a lot of people like me and a lot of people that inspired me, a lot that I know, a lot that I don't know, who are taking this like really hyper-personal pizza thing into the world, we're still vastly outnumbered by cheap multinational convenience and robots and all kinds of other things. If you want to go compete in that space, you can do whatever you want. But if you ask my opinion, I would say be distinct. Even if you want to sell a cheap bar pie and like Schlitz malt liquor or whatever, and that's your shtick, do it with distinction. Don't compete on a Goliath's turf would be my long-winded answer to a prospective pizza operator.